So Shaun's loaded up in our HackMotion. We love the HackMotion because it gives us real-time feedback, right? You don't have to film your swing, go to the camera, come back, and you lose sense of what you're doing. HackMotion with its biofeedback feature, real-time feedback. We took 5 swings of Shaun, and he was demonstrating what we see every week in lessons.
Yeah.
And this is what I was taught as well. I mean, this is years ago, so this is not anything new. This has been around a long time. It's to get an early wrist set in the takeaway and just kind of just turn to the top, to the point where you'll see a lot of golfers actually pushing the hand down to set the club up, where you're kind of pulling back like this.
It's being taught.
It's being taught, and it's been taught a long time, because I was taught that.
Push the handle down.
And I'm old. So that is not what we see good players do. That'll cause a lot of casting at the top a lot of times, because you can't, like Greg Rose says all the time, you can't close the closed door. So when you're maxing out that range of motion with the club set, you got nowhere to go in the downswing, and it's going to go the opposite way.
Yeah. Golfers that struggle with casting, a lot of times they're thinking, oh, well, I'll just get a lot of set here early and just kind of hold it. Yeah. But you can't open a closed door. Is that what you just said?
You can't. You can't do an open closed door. You can't close a closed door.
It's the same thing. Okay, so what I take from that is, if you overset here, oh, I'm just going to hang on to this, but it doesn't work like that. Because you've maxed out your wrist hinge so early, you lose that little bit of flow in the transition where you add just a little bit of wrist set because of the weight of the club and the change of direction. You lose that ability, so a lot of golfers will set to the point where, we talked about this before, the hand comes off the club, they overextend the wrist, and as soon as they start down, because they've maxed everything out with the wrist angles, the transition is thrown. And there's no putting the horse back in the barn.
No, you ain't putting that back in the barn.
No.
Now, some of you more swing junkies, right, will say, well, you're just talking about float loading. Show what float loading is.
Yeah, float load to me is like this super wide zero hinge and then really
trying to buggy whip it down at the bottom, or in the transition.
This is just natural flowing, I would say a tour amount of wrist set going into the top and then adding a little bit because it's natural. It, just like if I was taking this club and swinging it freely back and forth, that's a natural rhythm and timing of that club movement that actually helps you release it at the right time.
And even the players that you don't see kind of increase that angle in the transition, it's still increasing. Again, we're talking about a handful of degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees. You're not really going to pick that up on video.
No, and we're just saying just leave a little in the tank.
Right. You just don't want to max out these angles because you're not going to be able to hold them. And the reason that increases, so if you'll go back to the top, Shaun, this club's got weight on this end of the club. So this club is swinging back and Shaun's already pulling on it. So it stretches a little bit and then it lines back up again.
I mean, you can see it with really good ball strikers and long hitters. That kind of increases a little bit and they get in this spot right here to unload it.
Okay, so we're going to use the biofeedback to demonstrate how to train this out of your swing if you're a guy that kind of pushes down to pull up or get really early wrist set. I mean, I was taught, it's called the Faldo drill now. I don't even think it had a name back when I was taught it. Just here, hinge up, turn, and to the top where you're maxed out.
I did this one.
Yeah. Same very similar idea. Let's turn the biofeedback on. Now we're going to look at Shaun's flexion extension. So demonstrate which range of motion we're going to do here.
So flexion of my wrist would be bowing it in classic terms, and extending it would be cupping it.
And the reason we're going to look at flexion extension when we're talking about setting the club is you can't maximally set the club and not go into extension.
Exactly right.
Because if you go into flexion, you're going to underset the club.
Yeah, you basically have a governor on your the way the anatomy of the wrist is. You can't cock it up that much at that point. So
let's find out what you have here at setup. So I've got this set to give a tone, and Shaun's going to feel the HackMotion is actually going to vibrate when he gets out of range.
Okay.
So it's going to be quiet when you're in range, just because we got microphones on.
Okay.
All right, so let's go just to the takeaway of what you were doing before when we were capturing your swings.
The bad?
Yeah. Okay. So early wrist set, again, something he and I were taught decades ago.
That's the push down, pull up.
Now do that facing the camera so you can see how much extension is involved in that. So a lot of wrist cupping to really set that club.
Exactly.
We don't want to do that.
No.
Okay, so let's go back to face on. What does happen when you don't hear anything, when you're in range?
There's not a lot going on in terms of flexion extension.
Like 5 degrees or less?
It's kind of interesting.
Yes.
It all goes back to a lot of the stuff in the swing is a bit of an illusion because they're turning and the camera's stationary. So if I just feel like I kind of maintain
So I'll give you a number. Go ahead, set up to it. You're at 25 degrees right there. Go to the takeaway. You're at 19. So 6-degree change, which again, you're not really going to see on video.
Yeah, it's just probably a little bit with the weight of the club kind of swinging back a little bit. It helps keep the face, you know, pretty strong right there, not twisted way open.
So you may be watching this video and go, well, I don't do that anyway. You may do the opposite way. So let's go now. We see this from a lot of golfers who, they don't want this takeaway, but they'll down cock and try to keep the face looking at the ball.
One of my least favorite ones also.
Both of these are going to be disasters.
Yeah. So if I start here, and you can see immediately
so
too much flexion.
26, do that again?
Yep.
So you went from, this time you're at 22, make that same takeaway. So that's a 34-degree difference from where you started.
How much?
34-degree difference.
That's quick math.
Check the math, by the way. It went from 22 to minus 12, so that's 34 degrees.
And even this one gets me out of range. Just
right.
This excessive hand thing, club out. You're just trying to get this thing to kind of work out and around a little bit, which is the easiest way to place it here kind of on the track and just run that up to the top.
Now, when you get from that spot, finishing it is much easier. Your weight of the club is going to work over. You're going to have much more of a natural set to the club.
And it gets you in a spot where I could just change direction. Like we always say, your hands are in a spot.
Like for a wedge shot or a three-quarter shot.
If I'm here, now I got to flip it and use a longer backswing. If I just take the club on the track here, where it's just kind of down from my shoulder, I got some spacing here. Yep. The hands actually worked out and around a little, which allows me to keep the same wrist position. I could just pump it and chip a shot out there.
Yeah, you may have seen, you know, like laying clubs on the ground at these angles and the hands follow. The hands do not follow that inside track. They kind of actually circle out and around.
We can show it in gears over and over again.
If you're interested in HackMotion, you don't own one or not sure where to get one, click that link below in the first pinned comment. I think we even have a discount code for you to use to get this cool technology. I mean, it's great to practice with the feedback that you just saw and pick one up for yourself. We say this a lot during lessons. Golfers don't come in for lessons thinking they're doing too much. They often think they're not doing enough or doing the good movements. This is a case where you have to convince yourself to do less. That 6-degree change probably feels like nothing.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of reading a book right now, and one of the chapters is performance by removal. It's like you don't always have to be
addition by subtraction.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't always have to be doing more in the swing. A lot of times you need to be stripping stuff away, the unnecessary stuff.
It's more important when things happen than necessarily trying to add more pieces.
Right.
So let's have you set up again. Okay, I want you to try to imagine you're in a cast and nothing can move as far as the flexion, extension, or radial ulnar. Okay, you're in a cast. All you have is forearm rotation and body rotation.
So do you have it set where it's on during the good now?
No, you're going to get the bad.
Ready?
Yep. Okay. That's excellent. That changed a handful of degrees and no tone, no vibration. You're directly in the window.
And that's pretty darn solid.
So you trying not to change anything, not try to keep this clubbing in, not try to keep the hands out, not try to keep the club in. None of that produced the correct movement. So we literally had you take away motion to improve the takeaway.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm just letting my lead arm fold a little bit, turning. That arm will rotate some this way. The lead arm puts the club dead on the money, and I don't need to do any kind of sort of twisting. It really is a more simple movement.
No, so let's go, one last thing. Let's go from that takeaway. We'll do it from down the line. That takeaway, and then we're going to finish it. So we're going to get no tone, no vibration at the takeaway. Now go to the top. Okay, so now you're in range throughout. Which felt like you did less, the first part or the second part?
Man, it's all pretty much nothing.
Not much going on.
Yeah,
there.
I can see if I overdo it, the tone comes on. So HackMotion is great. You can set it to either be quiet when you're doing a really good
Right.
swing, or keep the tone on the whole time.
And you just try to
can
keep the
decide.
music.
Yeah.
So the takeaway here that we want you to understand
Literally.
is if you have a good grip, and this is why we harp on grip so much, and we've got a lot of videos on the grip. If you have a good grip and you want a good backswing, you don't need to do much of this, much of this. There's a little bit of rotation in there, but it's basically a very quiet movement to get your club in a neutral position.
Yeah, and we've been saying this a lot lately. We're trying to help everybody have a swing where you don't need to beat a lot of balls.
Right.
And this just falls right in line with that. Plain vanilla looking takeaway. Club's not twisted, overly set. Nice kind of normal looking pivots. Club swinging on plane. You'd be surprised how good a golf you can play. You don't have to beat a million balls.
No, that's an excellent point. So get a good grip on the club. So let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Develop a really like a palmy grip. We see a palmy grip all the time.
Yeah, palmy grip just means like a putting grip. So I grip it up between, kind of on my lifeline.
And you can even be kind of fake strong. You can be palmy and fake
that's
strong.
That's a fake strong right there.
But still dead in the palm, still not good.
It's running too much along my fingers.
Okay, let's see if you can, what do you have to do now to move good from a really palmy
grip? You got
grip?
to super, usually like, the guys and gals that do the palm grip, they a lot of times, only way they can move the club is this way because they don't have the leverage of getting the club off the ground because they don't have the heel pad on top.
Now let's do a really strong grip, like a legitimate strong grip.
Super strong?
Yep.
You'd have to keep it.
You have to keep up. So strong grip players really, you don't want to go strong grip and then try to flatten in the takeaway.
That's something you want to watch out for. And the HackMotion will account for some of that.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on your grip strength. Too strong, you have to make some kind of more excessive body movements on the downswing. So somewhere in that neutral zone where the face is turned away from your flat left wrist here a few degrees this way, puts you right in the wheelhouse. Plenty strong enough to square the face, and you don't need excessive body movements to keep the face-to-path relationship in a good spot.
I mean, you can sum up a good golf swing in avoiding the extremes.
That's it. Somewhere in the middle.
Don't get an extremely weak grip. Don't get an extremely outside takeaway or inside takeaway or extremely strong grip. Like, make it easy on yourself, because the more extremes you are, when you get off, and every golfer has more periods off than on, they're really going to be off. So if you're in that neutral range and you're off a little bit today, you're still in an acceptable range. Adopt that. Get a HackMotion if you don't. If you just can't get your hands on one, just remember, good setup and feel like you're not adding or taking away anything in the backswing. If you're interested in HackMotion, you don't own one or not sure where to get one, click that link below in the first pinned comment. I think we even have a discount code for you to use to get this cool technology. I mean, it's great to practice with the feedback that you just saw, and pick one up for yourself.